Hi, my name is Jason Stepp, and today we're going to do the safe operational training of the Stepp SGS flue-fired kettle behind us today. It's a very simple, easy to operate unit. It's not a lot of bells and whistles to it. It's very simple and very easy to operate, but I'm going to go over the safe operation of it. I always like to start kind of at the front end of the machine and kind of work our way back. On this particular machine, we've got our battery. It's a Group 24 battery. All of your wiring is wired into this weatherproof enclosure. Right behind the battery is our fuel tank. Just number 2 diesel to run the diesel burner. This particular unit also has a toolbox right behind it. Your fill is over here, your gauge is there. You do have a service valve, and then there's also a fuel filter for the diesel burner. Again, not a whole lot to maintain on this unit because it's so very simple. Our diesel burner is located here in this box. You know, it's a fairly small kettle. This particular kettle is 180 gallons. We do build them in a 180, a 275, 360, or also on a 580 kettle. They get to be very big kettles in a 580, but the 180 and the 275 are our two most popular sizes. They're both single axle like this one, and you can get them in LP fired or diesel. This particular one is diesel burner. Very simple and easy to operate. I'm gonna open up the control box here. Turn your main power switch on. The thermostat will come on. The top, we've got to give it a minute here to warm itself. So the top is what we're actually reading. So it says right now we're at 94 degrees. It's set at 0, so I'm going to run the thermostat up. You can see I'm just using the up arrow. So the bottom temperature is what we're set at. The top temperature is what we're actually reading. You'll hear the fan kick on. The call for heat light will come on. So when the call for heat light's on, it's telling that burner to fire. There you'll hear the burner kick on, and it'll fire until it hits whatever our preset temperature is. I'm actually just I'll shut it down so you can see that it goes through its cycle. So there the call for heat light comes off. The thermostat stays on, you know, because it thinks that we've came up to temperature. We also do put a voltmeter in here. Our number one problem with diesel fired systems is not a good supply of power for the towing vehicle. You gotta have, the burner takes about 15 amps to light, about 8 amps to run, so you gotta have a good charge wire. Most of the modern trucks are pre-wired with a pretty good charge circuit, but if not, some of our customers have had to run a wire right directly from their alternator on their truck through their light plug. So make sure you got good power. If you don't have power, that that battery's only gonna last probably 15 minutes with that burner firing like it is. So you gotta have a good power. I can't stress enough. Gotta have good power, especially on a unit without an engine. If it had an engine on it, the engine would supply power. This particular unit's a very simple gravity flow unit, so you gotta have power. It does have a strobe light switch in it. This particular unit doesn't have a strobe light, but if you ever want to add one, the switch is already there. The other thing I'll talk about here, there's 3 buttons for the thermostat. They don't really do anything. They're locked out. The only thing you're ever going to do is the up and down arrow. Shut the burner off so we don't run the battery down. Before you fire the burner, make sure that you open the top lid. Unscrew the lid. That's for transporting and for when you're firing. Because now in the event of an emergency vent, it can vent. You're going to set your blocks on here and then close your cover. It's a safety loading style chute, so that if it splashes back up against the cover. But make sure that is unlatched before you start your burners. Make sure that you've got product covering your flue before you run your burners. Obviously the first time you fire, you got to be a little careful because there's no product in it. You need to make sure that you at least have a few inches of asphalt over that burner to fire it on any flue kettle, especially with AC or an MC type oil, because you can flash that product. I'm going to just come around the back. We're going to change the camera here in just a little bit. We're going to come around the back and kind of show you the rest of the machine. Alright, so this unit's equipped with 2 pour pots in it. To unhook the pour pot, you spin and twist the pin out, spin that up, that pour pot just comes out of there. Set that on the ground for right now. Underneath it, you'll see your electric overnight heat. You know, it's just a plain 110 heater. Set your thermostat on the front. Very self-explanatory, very simple. On a flue fired style kettle, because we're firing so hot, if you're running your overnight heat, you need to open that cover and vent before you start the burner. You should on any kettle. Open up the kettle, because if we have it plugged in and we're heating overnight, we're creating some vapors. In the product that are in these kettles is a petroleum, so that vapor is potentially flammable. So make sure that you vent the kettle before you start the burner system, including even with the electric. The electric's not going to get it hot, but it's going to keep it warm, you know, get you halfway there, you know, 150, 200 degrees. You know, if you're running an AC, it'll get you, you know, warmed up. But even though we're heating it slow, we're still producing some vapor. So I always tell guys, when you come in the morning, first thing you're gonna do, open up this big cover, let it vent for a few minutes, and then fire your burner. Your inside closing valve is here. There are molasses gate valves available also if you want, but what's nice about the inside closing valve is it's always free, because there's a stem that goes into the inside of the kettle. They do cobweb and string a little bit, so if you're going to use that a lot, I do recommend getting just a hang pail to go over that to prevent that cobwebbing. So again, it just flips up, comes down, hooks down. Make sure that when you unlock the pin, it locks it in so it can't go anywhere. These respect without holes. You can spin off the spout, just use just a pour pot, or if you want to drill different size holes in here for doing ribbon pouring, you can. It's also equipped with a hand torch LP, hand torch reel and LP bottle. You guys specified using your own burner or your own hand torches, so it's just plumbed with a cap on it, so you have to put your own hand torch on there. But again, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Make sure you got the cover open, vented before you fire the burner. You know, your exhaust is going to come out of the two top hoods here. Again, it's a very simple, easy to operate unit. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is just your hitch and hooking up. Your hitch is adjustable. You've got plenty of safety chains there. Your VIN tag is here if you need any information for doing DOT. Your gas fill's here, fuel gauge is there, number 2 diesel, blend, biofuel. The burner will burn anything up to about a B20, or excuse me, a B10. And it's not recommended anything over B5, but if you do have biofuels, it will burn it. Your pressure regulator for your hand torches here, so you can adjust that on the back side if you need to. Has a filter and a pressure relief, obviously an on-off valve. These are shipped empty, because we can't ship them full, so they're brand new and they're empty. Yeah, so again, pretty simple unit. We'd like to just thank you guys for your purchase, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or your local dealer a call, and we can sure help you out with any questions that you might have. Again, we thank you for your business.